This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by InPix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. On One Software, focused on photography. Peach Pit Press, publishers of technology books, ebooks, and videos for creative people. Epson, exceed your vision. Expo Imaging, rogue flash benders for speedlight enthusiasts. Intel, the power you need for hardcore creatives. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional photography website. And B&H Photo, the professional source.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another live episode of The Grid. And we are so excited to have one of the most beautiful men in our entire industry here.
Wow.
Wow.
Never been introduced like that by you.
And Matt Klaskowski. How you doing, Matty?
I'm doing good, man.
This is 2 weeks in a row you're on the show. It's amazing.
I know.
All right, because Matt's been traveling. You just got in from a red eye from LA.
Yeah, we were at the WPPI Roadshow.
Yeah.
RC and I were teaching there on Monday and Tuesday, and
you looked tired today too.
For some reason, I hate red eyes. I don't like to take red eyes, but for some reason, I went against the red eye rule and took one last night.
Oh, dude.
It's direct, so you get in early.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're here because if not, it'd just be me and be kind of lonely and sad. Hey, just one quick thing before we jump into the show. We got a couple of prizes to give away, but first, hey, today it's 15 days to the early bird cutoff for Photoshop World, and what that means is you can save $100 if you sign up now. So if you sign up by August 2nd, oh, it's really 16 days. Sorry, my math was off. 16 days. You can save $100 off. And so Vegas is a very inexpensive place to fly. There's lots of inexpensive hotels. We've got special deals on
inexpensive hotels is
the understatement of the world.
You can get a hotel there for like $16 a night.
Yeah,
so that's the one it's everything else that you'll spend money on if you fall prey to it.
Yeah.
Lots of love to in LA. A lot of people are going to Photoshop World.
Good,
too, so
good. Well, we hope you'll come and join us. Go to PhotoshopWorld.com. We also want to invite you to our Photoshop World webcast on July 25th at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing a webcast to tell people about Photoshop World and kind of what it's all about. Okay, prizes for this show. So my new Lightroom book is about to come out. It's already printed. I'm just waiting for our first copies. There it is. That's my brand new book, the Lightroom 5 book for digital photographers. And we want to give you a copy today. So we'll be drawing for that later in the show. Also, I've got a ticket to my Colorado Springs seminar on July 29th, or you can go to my San Antonio, Texas seminar on August 16th. So those are both coming up. So that's kind of cool. All right. Also, one more thing. Now, I thought it was going live today, but now I'm not sure. But Zach Arias has got a brand new class on street photography that he's doing for our Kelby Training Online. Did it go live today? Does anybody know? It's up? Yeah. Okay, so it's live. I want to show you the little quick promo for it just so you can see what the class is about, and then we'll get on with the rest of the show. Here, watch Zach's thing here about street photography.
For me, the moment is king in street photography. It is about capturing a slice of life that is not photoshopped or retouched or planned or staged or posed. It just begs you to ask, who is that person and what is their life and what was going on in their brain right at that moment when they were photographed? My name is Zach Arias. Come check out my street photography class at kelbytraining.com.
Hey, that looks like a really cool class, right?
It does, dude.
All right, so I know we'll be watching tonight. So if you're not a Kelby Training subscriber, why the heck not? But if you're not, you can rent the course. You can just watch just that course. It's a 3-day rental for $9.99. But you know what? If you're going to spend $10 on one course, why don't you go ahead and get a whole month for $24? You can watch 350 courses.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming up as our topic. Coming up next. Okay, so I have to explain it after the break. But our topic is who should really get credit for this shot. And I think we have a really interesting topic today that was brought on by something I wrote on my Facebook page. But we will see right after the break here on The Grid Live with Matt Klaskowski, potentially beautiful man.
Potentially.
Don't go away.
I've gone down now.
Get the world's best photography, lighting, and Photoshop training at Photoshop World. Here's the top 10 reasons you should attend. It's 3 non-stop days of real-world training where you can get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors in Photoshop and photography. When you attend, you'll have chances to experience hands-on live shoots and workshops, outrageous after-hours parties and events, and hundreds of classes for all skill levels, along with dozens of opportunities to network with other attendees. In-depth, one-on-one portfolio reviews from industry professionals and see new cutting-edge technology. Plus, you can even earn continuing education and graduate-level credits from attending. This is the must-attend conference for photographers and Photoshop users. Register before August 2nd and save $100. Sign up today. Photoshop World, the world's best Photoshop and photography conference.
Hey, we're back. Scott here with Matt. So I just want to give you guys a heads up. There is something in our studio that is flying around.
It's a fly the size of a bird.
It's like a football flying through here. Pete's been trying to catch it.
It might be that big, but it feels like it's that
Pete
big.
was so close. He went right by him. But anyway, if you see something flying around the set, you just know that these are small insects attracted to Matt's armpits. So anyway, I want to talk about. I got to do this. Hey. My hair looks really messy. Okay, there we go.
There's nothing wrong with my armpit.
My hair is still not very good.
Today.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Hey, one thing too, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, MPix. MPix. I'm using MPix today. So met a guy yesterday who is a big fan of the Seahawks, and I'm found one of my favorite Seahawks pictures, sending it to MPix. They're going to frame it. They frame it, they mat it, they mount it, they send it straight to them. It's one of the best gifts to give is something that's framed and ready to hang on the wall.
Yep. And they were at the WPPI Roadshow that I was at, and I saw the guys there, and they just they have new metal. They've had metal before, but now they have new metal, like really, really good metal prints, and they're thin. They got a nice backing to them, but it's Miller's and MPix Pro right now, but it'll become an MPix. But very cool.
Are they metal prints or are they metallic?
It's like aluminum.
Okay, it's like aluminum. Okay, those are made.
So,
that's kind of like HD printing. All right, so let me tell you about our show today, which is called "Who Should Really Get the Credit for This Shot?" So I'm going to ask you for a minute to show my computer screen, if that's okay. So this is based on a post I did. So this is Annie Leibovitz shot this series for Disney, and I think that they're just. They're fantastic. So
this stuff's amazing.
Yeah, I mean the quality. This is Taylor Swift right there, and I think some of the stuff that she did like the Haunted Mansion here and some other shots. Look at this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really just quite amazing. I love this Cinderella one. I mean, I think they're really, really just extremely, extremely well done. I'll go back to the Taylor Swift one so I can use that as an example. But just really well done. And that's a behind the scenes shot. All right, so Disney hired Annie Leibovitz with, obviously she's got a tremendous name. Now, I wrote about this because Annie Leibovitz wrote an article for Fast Company, which is where we were seeing these images. And the article's very, very interesting. I think that she gives some really good insights into portraits. I think she talked about some things that I was like really, really surprised. Like, for example, she shoots these portraits in 15 minutes. Like, bang, like done. I want everything set up. We'll get the lighting done and all, but when the subject comes on the shoot, just give me 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes.
You got it.
And so I posted, the shots, and now in the article on actually it is a part of Fast Company, but it's their creative side of theirs. So the website is fastcocreate.com. So fastcocreate.com. Anyway, but if you go there and search, or you can just go to my Facebook page or my Twitter page or my Google Plus page and scroll back about a week and you'll see this link to Annie Leibovitz. It's very interesting. I think it's a helpful thing for photographers. And I think the shots that she did are great. Now, I will be honest with you, and I said this in my post, I haven't been a big Annie Leibovitz fan. Now, it wasn't her photography that I was not a fan of. because I think she's an amazing photographer. But I read some articles about her over time that kind of tainted my view. She might be kind of hard to work with and stuff. And I heard some things. I just, you know what I mean? It's hard to, I don't know. I'm just, to me, it's just, it's not just their work. It's the person taking the work. So I had a hard time with it. But I saw this stuff and I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm a fan. She's amazing. I knew she was great, but you know, I just love what she did. So I posted this. And people started coming up on my Facebook page and on different places and going, oh, well, this isn't really the photographer. This is the retoucher. This is all post-production. It's all post-production. This is just a big post thing. You could have had a chimp shoot this. Well, there's a link in this article to a behind-the-scenes video. And like, take a look at the image that we're seeing on screen here, right? This image, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. I know some of you are watching on a smaller screen. Let me zoom in here. Wow, that's zoomed way in. Now, I must not be on the right internet here, so let me just, let me check my internet stuff. Oh yeah, I'm on the slow connection there. Sorry, give me just one moment.
Oh, I'm gonna get it. I need chopsticks.
Yeah. And more skill, exactly. All right. Okay, can I zoom in and it works? There we go. All right, so you can see there's quite a lot going on here. So they have a link to the behind the scenes video, and I look at where she's shooting Taylor Swift, and it's pretty much this. It is, they built this set. They built this elaborate set. Now this hair wasn't in the set. This hair, that was added in post.
The clouds.
Yeah, and the clouds. Well, no, it actually had like some backdrop and stuff back there. So that may or may not have been added in post. That would be an easy matte thing to put back there. It's Disney. It's not like they do. Oh, we don't have money for it. But anyway, I was surprised personally at how much was actually shot in camera, because it looks like, you know, it was done, you know.
Oh yeah.
And then so when I posted that and said, hey, did you look at the behind the scenes shot? She lit it. She shot it. All this kind of stuff. They were like, oh well. Really, the credit should go to the set designer. Yeah. It really shouldn't be Annie Leibovitz. It's the set designer that did it. So, I don't know. I found it personally frustrating because this is a weird area. I don't think you should hold anything against Annie Leibovitz that it is a celebrity, right? I don't think you should hold anything against Annie Leibovitz because Disney built a set. Because if Annie Leibovitz didn't light it and Taylor Swift wasn't there, and you just showed the set, you would never ever show this photo anywhere. It would just be a background photo of a set. Well, there's sets everywhere. There's sets. Well, we have 9 sets here.
And what would the difference? What would the difference be if there was a castle on that they found and they brought her to?
Yeah.
Nobody would say, well, then it should go to the construction people that built that castle.
What if it was a real castle? And you know what? If you go to the UK. My mic, move it over here. Thank you. All right. This is Juan's last day. Anyway, so imagine if you went to the UK where there's a castle every 15 feet and you shot the same thing. You shot that shot at a castle, put Taylor Swift up there. Now what?
Yeah.
Right? That would be like when Tim Wallace takes a beautiful car and puts it in a really scenic location in the UK. Does anybody go, Tim Wallace, oh, you just took an Aston Martin and stuck it in front of an old castle? How hard is that?
The people who made the castle should get credit. The people who should make the car should get credit.
Yeah. So Aston Martin should get credit for the subject. And anyway, so I want to read a comment because your comments are coming in. Daryl says, photographer, model, set designer, retoucher, makeup artist, hair. Without any of those things, you don't get that shot. If the designer and, is that supposed to be in the same comment? Okay. Yeah. If the designer and makeup artist can't complete the look, the concept doesn't matter. Everyone has to do their job properly. Absolutely. And you know what else too? If you don't have a company that designed the lighting right, there's no shot. And if you have a camera company that didn't design the camera, there's no shot. But at the end of the day, wow, we're having a thunderstorm here. I don't know if you hear that over the camera, but it's shaking the building, thunderstorm, which means someone upstairs doesn't agree with my... So it's true. Daryl, that goes without saying. For any photo anywhere, if I take a picture of someone on a gray background and the model's outfit isn't good or her hair's bad, it's never going to make a terrific shot. But I think that saying this isn't Annie Leibovitz, the credit should go to the set designer, or the credit should go to the post-production person, or something like that. I don't think that's fair. And as I mentioned, I may not be the biggest Annie Leibovitz fan in the world, though I'm much more so now. Because if that was the case, if really all you needed was, just this is all ready to go, you could just hire Alice Johnson from Cincinnati, the part-time wedding photographer, have her walk up there and she would have got this shot. Alice Johnson, the part-time wedding photographer, would have gotten this shot, would have gotten that expression and all. But obviously, there's something to Annie Leibovitz, because Disney generally doesn't want to throw money down the trash, especially after this Lone Ranger fiasco. So who said that? Anyway, so I imagine that if anybody could shoot it, they would just get a Disney staffer to shoot it. Disney's got some tremendous photographers that work for them 365 days a year. But anyway, I was disappointed to read that kind of stuff, because what you're really trying to do is you're trying to take away from the photographer, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a gray area. Like I can kind of see where some of it comes from, because it's all the different things that make up that shot.
Absolutely. It is. A lot of people work to get it together. But you know what it is? If you go to see a Broadway play, a lot of people work. Do you know how many people work on a live Broadway production? But at the end, usually 1 or 2 people come up front and get a standing ovation.
Yeah. And
that's because the reason that show works is because of the lead that they chose.
This is the final piece of art.
Yeah.
And the photographer typically gets the credit for the final piece of art.
If the final piece of art goes bad, who do they blame? If the shot's bad, do they blame the set guy? Do they blame the lighting guy? Who do they blame? Who do they blame if this shot is a disaster?
Because the photographer has the final say. Because as she's sitting there and she's looking at this set and she's looking at the light on the woman and she's looking at the backdrop and she's looking at the cloud and she's looking at all these things, it's her responsibility at this point to say, guys, something's not working here.
Yep, I don't like the light.
The light is not matching what you built in the background. It's not matching this, and all these different things. So like you said, she's the one where that responsibility is going to fall onto.
Yeah.
But it is. There's so many different aspects of it.
All right, Alexandra writes, the makeup artist is not the one with the concept. Neither is the set designer.
Well. In this example, we don't know who the one with the concept is. Annie might not have been the one with the concept either.
I imagine an art director for Disney was. Now, that doesn't mean to say that Annie Leibovitz didn't go to Disney and say, man, do I have a great idea for a series. But my guess would be, and it's strictly a guess, is that Disney said, hey, what do you think about this, where every Cinderella story comes true? How about we do this campaign, and who would be the perfect person to shoot this? Alice from Cincinnati or Annie Leibovitz? Let's get Annie Leibovitz, because you're going to get an amazing shot. James D. Gabriel says, doesn't this subject correlate well to comparing processing your own film versus processing your own digital files? Lightroom is a different world than the darkroom, no? Yeah, I think you can. I think it's easier to push the limits in the Lightroom darkroom than it was in the real darkroom. Hey, Brad's got a comment here. Brad says, and this is by Brad, we meet Brad Moore, who's here in the studio helping us, as always. On big productions like this, the photographer is the equivalent of a director on a movie set. They manage every aspect of the shoot, whether they are actually the ones doing it or not. They have a vision for the final shoot and hire the right people to help them accomplish it. Without them managing everything to do with the shoot, the image doesn't happen. The main difference is that movies have credits at the end and photos only have one credit, most of the time fashion being the exception. Brad Moore.
I've thought about this topic a lot before.
Okay, Brad said he's thought about this topic a lot before. Dude, that was very well said.
If I can play devil's advocate to Brad, maybe there was a director though. I mean, there could have been someone.
There was probably an art director for Disney there.
I mean,
I'd like to see them go up against Annie Leibovitz.
We don't know.
Annie, I don't like the way this is going. She'd look at them and go.
And honestly, for all we know. So maybe this concept came up, And then maybe they said, hey, and we can have our retoucher put clouds in the background and put a building back there and all these things. And maybe Annie said, that's not the way I shoot. Maybe Annie said, no, if we're going to shoot this, I need this built, I need this built. I mean, who knows what?
Because she could have shot this all on green screen. They just popped it in, but they didn't. Right? How much cheaper would it have been for Disney to shoot it on green screen or on a gray background, composite it and pop? The stuff you can do in compositing today is amazing in Photoshop. Yeah. And so even without plugins and stuff, it's amazing. So, all right, there's a couple more comments. Oh, Glenn Dewis. That's our buddy over in the UK. And he's a terrific compositor. All in all, it's a team effort. I'm betting the set didn't look like that before Annie added lighting. I'll bet the photo didn't look like that until the retoucher got a hold of it. Team effort. I agree. It is a team effort. I'll bet if you asked the retoucher, he or she wouldn't say they had to correct much. Most of their time would have been creative, thanks to Annie's photography skills. And so, here's one. Spot says, bottom line, Annie shot it. She should get the credit for it. If a wedding photographer has someone doing their post-production work, who gets the credit? The photographer. And now we have a couple of things coming off of that. I want to open up some other can of worms here that's going to make everyone crazy. But before we do that, I got a couple more comments. Everyone who contributed to this photo would use it in their portfolio to feature their contribution. Yeah, if I was the set designer and I was trying to, I would go, yes, I would use that. But you'll notice that nowhere in this article does it mention the set designer or the retoucher or the hair or the makeup. It's an article about Annie Leibovitz shooting this thing for Disney. Tremano says, that was David D, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's whose the previous comment was. No Road Home says, stop guessing, ask Annie Leibovitz. Believe it or not, Annie Leibovitz, especially now, will probably never take my call. Tremano, the reason they pick someone like Annie is because she has a proven track record with all of the costs involved and the fame of Taylor. Having a proven photographer is paramount. There are a lot of great photographers, but if it's your job to drive the project, who would you pick? Yep. Ka-chow. Good one. All right. Hey, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about some other things along this line.
Pointy.
Choppy.
Choppy.
Other things along this line. I'm loving the comments that we're getting. You're both pro and con. And, it's like, it's okay to disagree with us because everybody seems to.
Dude, I'm not even sure what I agree with and don't agree with in this whole thing.
I know, it's a gray area.
It's a huge gray area. I have so many different feelings on it.
Now, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, she lit it, right? Now, she may have not lit the castle in the background, but she lit the subject. When it's a shot about people, look at Peter Hurley, who was on here last week. When it's a shot about people, it's about getting expression and it's about getting emotion. Because look at the look of Cinderella in there. I mean, it's a
great look.
That was a very unfortunate zoom.
I'm looking,
but it's. You know what I mean? It's like these are all celebrities, and it's lit wonderfully well. Now, it's very possible that Annie Leibovitz's lighting assistant completely lit this. But Annie told them, put the light here, put the light there. No, that's not right. Move it to the left. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Or she may have worked with her lighting designer so long that they know Annie likes it this way. But that's just, the gesture and everything about that is so great that if you cropped this shot just down to this, if this was all you saw was this, you never saw the castle and the light, it's a tremendous portrait. Mm-hmm. So that's why you hire Annie Leibovitz. All the other stuff is the icing on the cake, but you hire her for that because she creates something very special. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna take it up a notch. We are live right here in the grid. Don't go away.
Whether you love to read ebooks on your iPad, consider your Kindle your best friend, or addicted to your Nook, Peach Pit ebooks are for you. When you purchase your ebooks from Peach Pit, you get 3 formats. That means you can easily read them on any device of your choice. Or if you're in the mood to read on your computer, we supply you with the PDF. Head on over to Peach Pit today to get an ebook for 40% off.
Hey, we are back. Scott Kelby here with Matt Klaskowski. We still have not caught the bug. It's still flying around.
We're working on it.
I'm afraid it's going to go shooting in my mouth. Hey, do we have any sponsor shout out or anything? What do you think?
You know what? Actually, so part sponsor, but just part cool news. 500px. You're a fan of 500px.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
So landed on me.
They just released a fly catching tool. That it's the best in the industry. No,
I'll take 2.
They just updated their websites with like full screen images. Guys, you got to go check it out. If you have your photos on 500px, this is those things that you're like. You've always wished you had, like, because you want to click on a photo, you want to see it full screen, you want ways to go to the next photo, and when you get to a portfolio on 500px, you like browsing it.
Yep.
And there's so many times where I've been like, I just wish I didn't have to go back and click. They changed everything. There's full screen photos. It looks really, really sharp. So make sure you go check them out.
I was looking at it just before we went on the air here, and
yeah.
It looks outstanding.
Great stuff.
We do need to mention also our sponsor, Peach Pit Press. They give our viewers a big discount. It is the Peach Pit e-deal. It is good until August 8th. So the book is The Secrets of Great Portrait Photography. I have this book. It is great, by Brian Smith. Seriously, I have this book is sitting on my desk. So it is normally $39.99, but if you go to peachpit.com/something, Kelby TV, there we go, thank you. And you use the code Kelby TV, you get 40% off, so it lowers it to $23.99. So go check it out over at peachpit.com, enter the code Kelby TV, and save money like crazy. Okay, all right, I want to read a couple more comments. I want to go into this next thing, because I really want your comments on the next one, because it may drive some people insane. Rock, the credit and blame goes to the photographer, as they are directly responsible to the client. The client hires the photographer to achieve this goal and not the other team members. The set builder will not tell the photographer how to shoot. The makeup artist is not to approve the images to be used. It is a team effort, but the client hired the photographer and almost everyone else falls in line. Good point, Rock. Kent Cab, doesn't matter what anyone thinks, who did the set, makeup, lighting, direction, or anything else. Unless there was an alternate negotiation, work for hire, then the U.S. law dictates that whomever clicked the shutter release is the owner and gets credit. Stick around, Kent.
Yeah.
Alexandra, it's sad that people will pick on Annie of all photographers, and for these shots no less, which have a story to tell, rather than pick up a Kelby training membership and truly study photography. I love you, Alexandra. I don't even know who you are. Stop picking at the pros. We have concepts. We don't use our cameras for the hell of it. I also like it that you cuss. That's good. Okay. James D. Gabriel, if you're a retoucher and you restore old photographs for clients, who gets the credit for the newly finished product if the name of the original photographer is known? I'm going to ask Matt that question.
If you're a retoucher,
you restored an old photograph from 1930, who gets the credit for the newly finished product?
If the original photographer is known, I'd say the original photographer.
I would say the original photographer too. Yeah. He said, of course, this would only be relevant if the photo was eventually published in its new form. I still don't think it, but all this seems pretty cut and dried until you boy, your last sentence, James, it all seems cut and dried until you overanalyze it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. All right, so here's what I want to put out to you. And I really want to hear your comments on this, because this is a real life situation. So let's say you're a photographer, you go and you're shooting the X Games, and somehow or another you're able to talk one of the photographers and the X Games people to letting you mount a small DSLR on a motorcycle. So you take a motorcycle, mount a DSLR, you put a bogan arm, Manfrotto accessory arm, clamp something on there, you aim it, you get it all ready to go. You take a cable release and you actually tape it to the handlebars. You run it down there and you put a little button on it. And you tell the guy, look, when you go up in the air and you do this spin, when you start to flip your bike upside down, just press this button as you're going. Can you just move your thumb from there to there and just press it and hold it so it'll take a series of shots while you're in the air, all right? So the guy on the bike is pressing the button. Who's the photographer? Matt.
I'd say the photographer who set everything up.
Exactly. I think the photographer that mounted it had the idea and everything, but the photographer's not pushing the button.
The guy on the bike's just a button pusher.
On the bike. Yeah. Is he though, man? I feel exactly the same way. I feel 100% the same way. The photographer is the person that mounted the camera, gave the instructions, chose the ISO, the f-stop, the aperture. That's the photography part of it. They were just literally, and if you could do it wirelessly, which that's how I would really probably do it.
Yeah.
But if he could do it wirelessly, he would. So, not everybody can shoot. If you go to the X Games and there's all these people covering it, they don't let 500 photographers go in there and shoot wireless.
But there's other circumstances where the same thing would happen if you mount the camera in a jet or something like that, where you can't trigger it wirelessly
exactly.
up there.
So if you mount a camera in an F-16 and the pilot who's going to be flying the F-16 has to trigger it, did you see that thing fly by?
Dude, it's huge.
Dude, it's like a bumblebee.
There it goes again.
There it goes again.
It's coming back.
So, whoa, about took my head off.
It's a flyby.
All right. So, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Is it still the photographer? Scott King says the company who makes the memory card that goes in the camera gets the credit because without that card, there would be no photo file.
Yeah.
So Lexar really
or you shoot tethered
deserves the, or you shoot tethered. All right. So I want to show you a photo on my screen again. If we could just show that again. So for those of you who were here last week, we showed an actual print of this. So this was a kind of a funny shoot we did. That's Peter Hurley and a couple of our crew there adoring him. This is a parody of the movie poster for Chevy Chase in Vacation, the original Vacation movie. All right, and so they recreated it here. Now, they took the shot in the studio. I'm going to go up to that. Here's the original studio shot as taken by RC. So RC Concepcion took the shot, right? There it is. It's a little, jaggy and stuff, but that's the way RC shoots. He's very jaggy. No, it's, all right, that's Peter Hurley. All right, Brandon and Mia. Okay, and then we back off. All right, then, so Corey Barker came in, and in 45 minutes took this shot. Is this one of your shots, Matt? Is that one of yours? Or are these stock shots?
No, those are, they look like stock.
So they took some...
But you know what? That'll factor into what we're going to talk about later.
Okay, good. So he took some stock shots, kind of put them together. Here's what put those clouds with this background, then composited that in, did the whole thing in 45 minutes, including the 3D text and everything from scratch to make this. All right, now, who's the photographer? Is it RC still?
Well, the photographer is RC.
Well, okay, if you put this on the website and RC puts it on his site, and it, you don't
does RC put this on his portfolio site?
Why not? Why wouldn't he put it on his portfolio site?
Somebody has
to put it on there. I mean, RC took a shot and then he turned it over to a retoucher. Now, he did happen to turn it over to one of the best retouchers in the world. And apparently one of the best.
Well, RC is a smart guy.
So RC is a smart guy. Oh man, we got a good one coming up, and that's our next topic. So GA Photo, you are our next topic. I mean, did you see the thing? It almost took my finger off.
Chichakio gets the credit.
Oh, Chichakio. Okay, so here's the thing. I mean, it is now, but I think RC gets credit not just for the photograph, but RC gets the credit for going to a retoucher. Now, he didn't have to pay Corey because Corey's, one of the crew here, and they're buddies, and here, would you do this for me, And Corey's great about that. If you go to Corey, I don't know why I don't go to Corey more often, because he'll do insane things. But if RC puts this on his blog, puts it in his portfolio, it's just going to be RC. Do you think Annie Leibovitz, when she puts the Disney stuff in her portfolio, which I sure as heck would, do you think when Annie Leibovitz puts in it, she's going to name the retoucher? She going to name the set designer? She going to name anybody? Nope.
Makeup
Annie
artist,
Leibovitz.
No. Yeah.
Annie Leibovitz. He almost got it. Arnaldo almost got it. All right. Oh, don't take that away. Don't take that last one away.
Are we ready to go there yet?
I don't know. We could be. All right.
So I guess, because here's part of my thought, is the photo without all the retouching done, you'd never show anybody.
Right.
It would never see the light of day.
Yeah. Well, you can. Yeah. It was designed for the composite.
Exactly. It was designed to work with something else. So, I mean, it kind of falls into that area where somebody who mentioned, I think Brad mentioned director before. It's almost like if you're going to put this work on your site, you want to be known as I can produce these types of images.
Yes,
I'm a director of producing this image, not a wedding portfolio where I click, I got this, I have it over to you in a matter of seconds, we're done.
Right.
I mean, they're two very different types of photographers.
I think you're right on the money. When you show that, you are capable of doing that because you have a retoucher, that you work with, that can create those. If they were to hire RC, RC hires Corey and they create this amazing image. But RC can deliver that.
Yeah.
Because he shot it. He can shoot this. He can,
You're hiring the person to deliver the final image.
Right.
So as photographers, we get caught up in who clicked, whose photo is it on.
Right.
As the client doesn't give a crap. The client only cares that they got their final image. That's what they're hiring. They're hiring the person to
That's just like Brad's
Brad
guy.
said.
Brad,
what's the
photographer's name? The photographer's name that he does these incredibly elaborate things, but he doesn't even push the shutter. Gregory Crutzen, right?
Yeah.
Gregory Crutzen. So he does these very, very elaborate shoots, but he is more of the director. He doesn't actually even press the button on the camera. It's no less his shot, but he is like, boy, I think what Brad said earlier about the director of the movie, and the director of the movie gets director credit, that's for sure, but that would be the same as getting photographer credit. We got a couple more comments here. Brad wrote another comment here, and he said, I gave RC some photos that I took of a location before I knew how to do HDR so he could process them. He used them and given co-credit.
He has used them and given co-credit.
Oh, he has used them and given co-credit to both of us. Photographer Brad Moore, post-processing RC Concepcion. That's because the post-processor did it. If you're the post-processor, then I think you owe a nod to the photographer. But I don't think normally the photographer would have mentioned the post-processor. When was the last time you saw a photographer that wasn't teaching, but did an image and said the post-processing was done by blank? Never.
No, never.
Zero. However, if you go to Justin Pagula's site,
who does Douglas Saunders,
and he's terrific, and they are a terrific team, he would say photo by Douglas Saunders.
Yeah.
So there is a different relationship between the retoucher, and not that the retoucher is any less talented than the photographer, because great retouchers like Justin, like Corey, I mean, they're like an unbelievable breed.
And they are, because again, the photo in and of itself, I hate to sound harsh, is worth nothing.
This photo.
And I'll take it off of RC. I wrote a compositing book 2 years ago, and you hear the way this all comes around is each year you and I co-author an update to the Elements book, and so that update rolled around toward the end of the year, and I'm going back through all my photos that I shot during the year. Well, I shot all year long for this compositing book, and I'm looking for photos to use in this Elements book to teach with, and I'm like, I can't use anything because they all suck. Because they were all meant for a composite.
Right.
I would never, ever show them to anybody in the absence of putting them into the composite. So
right, because you got a guy like holding the basketball or doing some pose or something, and it was designed from the very outset to be composited into something
that
else.
retoucher is just as important, if not more important sometimes than the photographer is.
Now, it's nice if you are the photographer and the retoucher, and some people are. But some people, and there's nothing wrong.
It takes away everything.
You know what? And I think photographers that know their strengths and they know their limitations and use a retoucher are freaking smart. I think that if you go, all right, I can light this and I can do this and all, but I want to add stuff that's beyond what I can do. I'm going to go hire a retoucher. My hat's off to you. I think that's the very, very smart photographer. RC says, these pieces of work are a collaboration. It would be disingenuous if I said I did it myself. I can own the concept, but give credit to the execution. To claim it to myself is just false. I think in this case, RC, to claim this photo yourself is embarrassing. No, I'm just kidding.
But we even said that last week when we talked about it. RC directed the whole thing.
Yeah.
He casted the whole thing.
Yeah, like he did, but it was his production. I mean, it was RC's kind of vision. RC said, here's what we're going to do. And he did the lighting that was appropriate and that was right. So the shot that you're seeing here is a production shot. That's not what the shot looked like when all the flashes fired and stuff. You're seeing like modeling lights on in the background and stuff. That's not a final shot. That's like, you know, a behind the scenes shot.
No, that is a shot.
Oh, that is? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a crappy shot, RC. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I want to take a break because the next can of worms we're going to open is going to take a little bit longer. So we're going to take a short break. This is going to
be a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. So anyway, we still want your comments, so please feel free to give them. We will be back in like 60 seconds or so. Ooh, you almost got it.
Did you hit it? Did you make contact?
He stunned it. Can we spray it with something like just hairspray or something? So
yeah,
it just
dude, you're going to end up with freaking bug spray in your mouth in a second.
Yeah. All right. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on the Buggy Grid. It's the Buggy Grid. It's the Buggy. Scott Kelby here, and welcome to this quick tour of our online training. We have hundreds of online classes for you, covering everything from lighting to landscape photography. From portrait photography to sports, we have classes on weddings, automotive photography, shooting, food, fashion, travel, you name it. And you get access to them all, 24 hours a day, on demand. We use only world-class instructors and the most famous names in photography training today. Our classes put you right there, right beside the instructor, and it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or a pro because we have classes for every level. Plus, every week we release another brand new class. The most incredible part of this is the price. You get all of this for just $199 a year, or you can pay monthly for just $24.95. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week access from anywhere in the world. These are just a few of the reasons why tens of thousands of people from all over the world subscribe to KelbyTraining.com, and I invite you to join with us today and start learning right now. We'll see you in class. Hey, we're back. No luck on the flying bug. It's not for lack of trying, let me tell you.
No.
Hey, we want to give a shout out real quick to our sponsor, Wacom. We love them. Number one, they're our sponsor. Number two, if you do not have a Wacom tablet, if you're a photographer and you're not using a Wacom tablet,
you're missing out.
You truly are missing out. I actually carry one everywhere I go. Where's my laptop bag? But I actually carry a Wacom Intuos 5. Small. That's the model number, small. That stays with me in my bag, and it goes with me wherever I'm traveling. I use the medium one in my studio. I have a medium one at home. You've got a medium in your studio?
I do. I have a medium one in the office, and I got a small one that I do the same thing. It fits right in my laptop bag. But
and we're talking about retouching. It's the Retoucher's tool.
Yeah, you can't beat it. You need one.
Yeah. Oh, there they are.
You know what it is? Here's what I always tell people, because there's very few products that I say like, you need. You know, there's so many things that are nice to have. It's nice to have this lens and this lens and this lens. Yeah. I have no problem telling someone just buy it.
Yeah.
You can't do your job the best way without it.
All right. So first go to Wacom.com.
Wacom.
And watch the little videos that show you why you would want a Wacom tablet. You'll see, you'll go, oh, I can't believe I've been using this before. All right. So this person has they took an interest. They twisted things a little bit here, right? And I'm going to read their comment.
They're misquoting you.
Yeah, they're misquoting
the concept is there.
But the concept is there. So GA Photo says, I remember Scott saying that if you took a photo at Photoshop World at the Westcott booth, the real credit goes to Westcott, not the photographer. So who does he think gets the credit now? Dear snarky GA Photo. Well, first,
we have to set up the Westcott.
Okay, so first for everybody watching, what is the Westcott booth? Westcott at Photoshop World, they're doing it again in Las Vegas. They set up a very elaborate set. Not maybe as elaborate as Disney's, but still very elaborate. They have incredible hair, makeup, costumes. They do the lighting, and they do everything. And literally, anybody can walk up, because it's constant lighting. So they're using like spider lights. So you don't even need a flash or anything.
There's no triggers.
They've had a professional set up the lighting, professional model, all this stuff. And you just walk up and take the picture, and you'll see hundreds of people taking that picture. What our point was then was this. If you take that picture that you took at the Wacom booth, right, and you put it in your portfolio as an example of the work that you can deliver, it's a lie. You can't deliver that work. You didn't have the concept. You don't have a set. You don't have the models. You didn't do the lighting.
The costumes.
You didn't do the camera settings. You didn't do anything. I could have taken my 7-year-old daughter, walked her up to the set. She'd get the same shot that you did.
Yeah.
Now, what would be different is if you could start with an empty studio with just a white seamless paper, and you had the vision to hire the models, come up with the concept, hire the hair, hire the makeup, and then maybe you could do it. But it's disingenuous for someone who was at Photoshop World to have shot and really had nothing to do with this photo except for walking up. Literally, you'd be walking by, oh, there's the Manfrotto booth. Oh, there's the Sony booth. Oh, look. Oh, hold on. Click. Huh. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
You can't deliver that.
People, and I've even seen people go as far as winning photo competitions.
That's right.
With photos that they shot there.
Right. So we know somebody who actually won a photographic competition with a shot that was 100% set up, staged, lit, everything.
Dude, sometimes even pose, because I know what somebody's going to write. Somebody's going to write, because they'll go along the lines of what you said. You know, Annie posed, Annie got that reaction, but we've been to the Westcott booth. There's a lot of times there's pros that are around there that are posing and teaching while people are shooting.
Right.
So you can't even use that argument that photographer posed that person, because most of the time they didn't. There was probably somebody there that told the person to turn and give a certain look, and so really all the person did was walk up and go dink.
Exactly. So if your 7-year-old daughter can walk up and take a shot that could win a photo contest, there's probably something more to that shot that would need to be done. So and that's what our whole talk was about then. Was it's your portfolio should be what you can deliver. RC can deliver that poster. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't mean RC will do it alone. Actually, can I be honest with you? RC is really good at post-production. I mean, Corey is the man. But RC, if Corey was out of town...
RC does composites.
Yeah. If Corey was out of town, RC could come up with an amazing poster, right? It may not have the 3D letters, because the only person using 3D in Photoshop in the world today, by the way, is Corey. No, I'm just kidding. But
there's 3 other people.
No, there's 3 other people. But RC has incredible post-processing skills. He could come up with something that you would go, well, yeah, that looks pretty much like, the other one. Believe me, RC can go find, clouds and compose all this stuff. He's a Photoshop genius. So anyway, that's the difference. RC could put that poster in his portfolio, and if someone says, I want something like that, he could deliver. That's the problem with the Westcott thing. And that's the problem with the snarky comment. Who wants the photo now?
Yeah.
Mr. Kelby. Senator Kelby. All right. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would love to know people's thoughts on the Westcott thing. I think is a good one.
I can tell you right now that there's going to be some people that we know are going to be very defensive about this, because there are people watching
because they won a
show,
photo contest with a photo.
Well, even if they didn't win a photo contest, there are people watching this show right now, because we get a bazillion viewers, that have those shots in their portfolio.
Up on their portfolio.
They're on their portfolio right now.
They got the samurai. They got the guys with the samurai sword. They got the girl with the
James Bond motorcycle guy.
The girl with the twigs that
and
came
the one
out
coming
of
out of the egg. Remember, they had the egg.
Yep.
I tell you what.
Steampunk.
What was that? Steampunk? Yep. Oh yeah. I tell you, I will say this: the people at FJ Westcott, they are creative.
Yeah, they got some great ideas.
They've got, I don't know, and the makeup. Now they use it. They use a special makeup artist in Las Vegas. So they have a good one in Orlando. Their stuff always looks good. But the person that they use in Las Vegas is...
Dude, the fly is actually eating
now
through
the
power cord.
Now the fly is eating through the power cords, because it just...
All right, let's see. Right. Asphulux says... sorry. It's Asflux.
Or it could be Asphylax.
Or it could be A, Sfullux.
Or it could be assful axe.
So, using the same logic, what about somebody going with me on a photo shoot, documents all the settings, and recreates the exact same scene? Should they claim it as their own?
Sure.
They should. It opens up a conversation. And I actually wrote about this on my blog a while back, because I wrote, I did an air-to-air workshop with Moose Peterson.
Yeah.
And so somebody had sent in and said, they were looking through my portfolio, and they said, I loved your air-to-air photos. Why didn't you ever put those in your portfolio? So I thought it made a good topic, because I deliberately didn't put any of those photos in my portfolio because they weren't representative of anything that I could do. All I did was tether myself into, or I didn't even tether myself, somebody else tethered me into a plane, and then I put my hands on my knees and tucked in really close and pressed the button. It's literally like all I did. Moose set up the shop. Moose set up the whole workshop. Moose got everybody together. Moose got the planes together. Moose coordinated. Moose did all this stuff. And I kind of walked in. Did I click the button? Yes, I clicked the button. But I never felt quite right about putting them into my portfolio, because they were just in no way representative of anything that I did.
All right, can we look at my screen real quick?
Oh, it just lost it.
Ah! Where did it go? All right, don't look yet.
Alt-tab.
Where did it go? Here? Nope.
Right there.
Where?
Go there. Hit spit. There you go.
All right, let me just open it here. It's weird. Okay. All right, can we look at my screen now? All right, so here's a shot that's never been in my portfolio, will never be in my portfolio. You're thinking, I don't remember ever seeing this shot, Scott. I actually talked about this on the grid. So this is a shot taken in St. Lucia. I was teaching a workshop with Joe McNally in St. Lucia. So I am the guest instructor at this workshop. Joe sets this up on the beach for the students and me. Joe mounted the flashes up in these lights. Joe hired this guy.
Set the power.
Joe set the power of all the lights. Joe got all the lights to trigger, which is not easy. I mean, seriously, these are all line of sight. These aren't using pocket wizards.
Anybody who uses SB8 or 900 knows.
Right. So he hired this guy. He arranged the beach. He did every single thing. And literally all the students had to do was walk up and take a picture with him. Now, you could say, well, Scott, did you interact with him? I said, yeah. Can you turn your head a little this way? All right, that way. Click. Great. Thank you. I didn't do this shot.
Yeah.
I got nothing to do with this. This is a Joe McNally shot that I was lucky enough to walk up on. But it's not in my portfolio. I don't post it anywhere. I really had virtually nothing to do with this. And to me, post this as this is a sample of my work. I've never fired that many flashes in my life. This is just, it would just be a lie. It's just that I didn't, did I take the picture? Yes. Was I there? Yes. Did I hold the camera? Yes. Just like you would at the Westcott booth. Mm-hmm. It's the exact same thing.
So Scott King's got an interesting, and we knew it would go here because we actually even talked about this before the show. So he says,
knew it would go there, Scott.
What if you're at a landscape workshop and you have someone like Matt who takes you to a location? Should a person still not get credit for the photo that they take there? And this happens, guys. We'll be at a landscape workshop and someone will find a great composition. Somebody, they'll walk around, somebody will stray a little bit from the group, and they'll find a killer composition. They'll walk back, and either, if they're nice, they walk back and they get the group and they bring the group over. Right. If they're not nice, they walk back and they don't tell anybody about it, but somebody sees it on the back of their camera and they say, where is that? And they say, it's over there. But, so you end up going over to this spot that they found and they set up, and you take the same photo. There's no question whose photo it is.
Right.
It just now it starts diving down in that path of. Yeah. Are you?
See, I think it's still your shot.
It is. There's no question.
I think because here's the thing: is if you go to a landscape workshop, you've done a number of landscape workshops. Mm-hmm. I've done have you been to a landscape workshop where the workshop went to a super secret area that nobody knew about?
Not really, no.
No, you pretty much go. I've been on landscape workshops where we shot from the visitor center parking lot. Mm-hmm. I've been shooting at landscape workshops where, I am not kidding, a busload of Japanese tourists appeared behind us, and they all go in front of us. So, and Matt will tell you, because we've done a number of these landscape workshops, if you have 30 students in the class and you are all shooting from the exact same position, when we go back in the classroom later, you think you're going to see 30 shots that look the same?
No. You see 30 very, very different photos.
30 shots that are so different, you can't believe they were even in the same spot with you. You're looking at their stuff and going, what were you shooting? Where did this come from? You know, it's like, well,
either good or bad. And
yeah, either really, really good, like, wow, where did this come from? Or how did you miss the shot?
You should have looked at somebody else's camera.
Dawn, we're in front of a lake and there's a mountain behind it and you got a shot of a bobcat. Like, so it's just, but it really, really does happen. So I think that the landscape workshop, what they did was they took you to a place that basically is easily accessible to 30 or more people, which means you drove a bunch of cars out there, right?
Yeah.
You parked probably in the visitor center parking lot and you walked maybe 50 yards, 100 yards. You set up your tripods. What magical thing did they do except for here's what they did. They made you get up at the right time and get in position for sunrise. But really, a great landscape workshop comes from God. He gets credit for the lighting. Either the sun has beautiful sky and incredible, it's either an amazing morning or it's a bald, empty, awful sky.
And to kind of go off of what Scott said, so because he ended with, should a person still not get credit for the photo they take there? They should absolutely get credit for the
absolutely get credit.
That's not what's in question. And even the whole Asphalt thing about the camera settings thing.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry.
There's no question about who gets credit for it. Where I think you can hurt yourself is if you always go to landscape workshops and you're always going to these places where your shot is basically you pull up to the parking lot and your shot's set up for you. What happens when you go on vacation by yourself and you're in a beautiful spot and you don't know what to look for? You don't know the key elements of...
Because there's not 25 tripods set up.
Exactly, exactly. You know, and that was, you know, it's different. You're alone. You're standing there, and you know
you're scared. You're alone and you're scared.
You're in this great spot. You know there's beautiful stuff around you. Now it's up to you to find what's the interesting thing here. What do I put in the foreground? I've never seen a picture of this place before. Do I go find a rock? Is there whatever it is? But it's not who owns the photo. It's not who got credit for the photo. The only thing that you hurt yourself with is that you'll never learn what makes a really good photo because you're always taking the picture that's on the little thing at the visitor center.
Yeah,
it's the same photo that's on that thing, and you just walk up and you take it.
Right. Well, it's an interesting thing about how these landscape workshops go, because I've done portfolio reviews from students. So if I have a class of 30 people and we're there for a week, I try to sit down with every person individually if I can, depending on the workshop and the time allotted and stuff. But like when I would teach at the Santa Fe workshops, I would meet with every single student one-on-one. While they're like everybody else is working on images and stuff, I would go back and sit with them. And I got to tell you, it was a fascinating study in photography to look through people's portfolios, especially landscape photographers. That was close, dude.
I know.
All right. So I would open their book, right? I would. You don't have to say you're sorry if you actually capture them.
That was close. That was the closest. That was the closest I've been.
You have to release him into the wild, and I'm just assuming it's a him.
That was the closest I've been, though.
All right. So I open up their portfolio book, and here's this beautiful shot, and I'm like, oh, this one's going to be good. This one's going to be good. And I turn the page. Ooh, and I'm like, man, you're fantastic. And then I turn the page, and it's awful. I'm like, and so I remember so succinctly numerous times going to my students and going, where's the photographer that took the first two shots? This doesn't even look like the same photographer. This is like, what happened? You got to help me out. What happened between shots A and shots B? Do you know what it was 99% of the time? Shots A and shot B were taken during a workshop. Mm-hmm. Shot C was them on their own.
Yeah, it was their vacation.
Right. And here's what the difference was. It's like a psychological thing. And that is, a landscape photographic workshop doesn't, I got to tell you, doesn't give you super secret locations. Do you know what a landscape photographic workshop does? It makes you get up at 4 in the morning, get in a car, go to a location, and be fully set up a half an hour before sunrise. When it came time for this student in my class, and it wasn't just one, this happened again and again. I've taught at Santa Fe numerous times. When it came time for them to shoot a landscape, it was shot at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And
after they slept in that day.
They didn't have their tripod down low like everybody else did at the workshop. They slept in. They didn't do the very most basic things that you're forced to do at a landscape workshop. If you go to a landscape workshop, you are forced to get up at 4. You're forced to be in a good location. It's like.
And if you have a good instructor, the instructor's guiding you to say, hey guys, over here there's a great rock that makes a great foreground object for this, and you'll want to make sure that you include this in the photo and all those different things. I remember being with Moose B. Peterson of the Peterson family. I remember being in Lake Tahoe with Moose, and I'm shooting a 12 to 24 back then, a 12-24 lens. Man, there's some stuff on me. Oh, God, I think it pooped on me. Oh, God, this is awful. Anyway, ew. Seriously, it's like on me. Anyway, it's so big, poop can hit you. Anyway, we're on location in Lake Tahoe, and I'm shooting a 12 to 24. And I kid you not, I look over at Moose, and he's got like a 200 millimeter, like a 200 prime or something on there. And I'm like, what are you doing?
And I go, and Moose goes, let me see what you're getting. And he looks, and I'm getting the standard, wide angle shot of Emerald Bay, I look over at Moose's, and he goes, come look at what I'm shooting. I look through there, and he's down on the water with a rock with these little trees, and it's an amazing shot. That's what you get at a landscape workshop. And Moose is really good about that. He'll come around and he wants to see what you're shooting, and then he wants to show you some other ideas. Because the last thing that I was thinking at this point was, I'm going to use a zoom.
Yeah.
The funny thing was that I was just shooting with Moose in Lake Tahoe again, completely unrelated, about 8 weeks ago. We're sitting on these rocks at dawn. You know why? Because Moose made me meet him at 4:45 in the morning in the lobby. Anyway, so Moose and I are out on these rocks. And I'm shooting wide angle. I got a 14 to 24 in there and stuff. And Moose hands me a long lens. And I go, what are we going to do with this? And Moose points to these rocks off for this. And so I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Ooh, hey, that's pretty good. Now, you didn't see those shots, not because that Moose was wrong. It was because the water was so choppy, it looked like we were shooting in the ocean.
Yeah.
But anyway, it wasn't Moose's fault. That's, again, Mother Nature deciding whether you're going to have a good shot or not. But that's the kind of things you really learn. But the problem was, if you had hired my student to shoot your landscape shot, we want to do a landscape calendar, and you're our shooter.
And you hired him based on those first 2 photos.
Right. They would have delivered the 3rd photo. All right, BDJMMY, or Bad Jimmy, says, Matt, I have what I think is a great shot. And to some degree, because of my posting.
Post-processing?
Yeah, post-processing, I imagine. But more because you pulled me over, Second Beach.
Second Beach in Olympic.
In Olympic National Park last month.
Yeah.
So what would you do? To me, it's not about ownership, but assuming that my blog points out why and with whom I was, with that, I'm having a hard time reading it.
Assuming that my blog points out, I guess maybe he's posting on his blog, points out why and with whom I was, with that gathered me and others in the same spot. And I remember exactly what he was talking about. To share something that I accomplished, certainly not by myself. So does whether it's representative of our work or not product make a difference? And so the situation was, we were on Second Beach, and everybody's kind of shooting different things, and there's a tide pool around the rock, and so we kind of got everybody like, let's go over here, put this in the foreground, you can get this in the background, and do a longer exposure and get all this. And it was great because it was a great learning experience too. I think my feeling on it always has been, I don't really care who put the photo in front of me. I don't care how I got the photo. I don't care if the photo was taken 6 feet from my car from a visitor center or you hiked 6 hours to get it. If it's a great landscape photo, It's a great landscape photo, and I want to show it off, and I want to share it with people, and I want it in my house, and you should have it. I'm trying to think who this is. BD Jimmy. I'm trying to think. Oh, is this Jim Smith?
Well, it could be Jim Smith, except for his name is BD Jimmy.
Could be Jim Smith. Anyway, and Jim should have it in his house with his post-processing and his thoughts and everything behind it too, because there's something about capturing the photo yourself. It's the reason why we don't just go buy a picture of Mesa Arch.
Right.
There's a ton of pictures out there of Mesa Arch. Why is it one of the most visited photography places in the United States? Why, whenever you show up there, there's 45 other photographers.
There are 45
taking
photographers
the
at
same
Mesa
exact
Arch
shot.
at dawn.
Because we want to capture it ourselves.
All right, so let's go back to his last question. So does whether it is representative of our other work product make a difference? I think it does.
If you're, sorry.
Oh, it's Ben Jimmy. Ben Jimmy, that's his name? Ben Jimmy? So I guess this goes back to what we were saying is,
I think it's what you want to do with it.
well, but is it representative of his other work? Because here's the thing, Jimmy, like if you know in your heart that you don't need Matt to get that shot, that you could go and pick another spot. Let's just say that you went to
Third Beach.
Montana. Not Third Beach.
It exists.
There is?
First Beach, Second Beach, and Third Beach.
Yeah, but let's not go to a beach.
Second Beach is the best. Though.
Let's go,
So if you
to Montana to Glacier National Park.
Ooh,
you know that you're going to be able to achieve a photo that is every bit as good as the one that you did at the workshop, all right? Then I think you're okay. If you're like, yeah, I mean, it was like a no-brainer. Like I got that, you know. So if Matt wasn't there, you wouldn't be like, oh no, oh no, oh no. You go, boom, I'm here, I'm there, I'm on time, I'm set up, and you know, I've done all the things to get a great shot. Then I think you're okay. I just think that a lot of people, like in other words, like my student I was looking at, they were only capable of making a great shot at a landscape workshop. Mm-hmm. And if they had taken out their own personal shots, I'd have been like, you don't change a thing. You're awesome. Your pictures are fantastic.
Yeah.
You rock. You should be doing calendars. But they had the barn in Wyoming. You know,
Oh yeah.
So
and to add on to that, I don't think there's anything really wrong with that too. Because it kind of boils down to, are you happy with your photography? If you go to these landscape workshops, you got the camaraderie, you got the people, you got all this stuff, and you come back with great photos that you can then put onto your wall and all these different things, that's okay.
I know, but
It's
still, Matt, think about this. You have a big print on your wall, and friends come over, and they go,
Yeah.
you took that? And you're like, yes, I did. Wow! But you're not that good a photographer. Not you, but I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? You are actually that good a photographer. But that's what I'm saying is,
And I think most people probably aren't happy just being that because Jim is gonna go on vacation by himself somewhere in Colorado maybe,
Right.
and he's gonna get up early and he's gonna set out to go find that great shot, and hopefully he knows all the makings of what
Right.
that great
Yeah, I
shot
hope-
is. And if
I
you
hope
just
so.
do workshops, you kind of
Oh, it is Jimmy Smith. Look, it's Jimmy Smith.
okay. Jimmy, he's awesome. He's super guy.
All right. Hey, Jimmy K.
I told you about
who
him.
was not.
He said hi.
Oh yeah,
big fan.
That guy. Okay. Hi, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy K. Who's a different.
And by the way, Jim was the only one that waited for me because, as you know, whenever I go to a beach, for some reason I'm drawn to beaches. I'm the absolute last photographer to leave the beach, and Jim was the only one that waited for me. We had to hike back together.
He cares.
So he cares.
Jimmy K. I am not a professional photographer, and I do not promise or show anything that I cannot deliver. What made me a photographer around here was because I was the one that read the manual that came with the camera. Nowadays, if you have a DSLR, you are a photographer. I do not promise anything or promote anything I cannot deliver. Jimmy K., I take my hats off to you. I think that is the ethical, right thing to do. And there's a lot to be said for doing the right thing. You never go wrong by doing the right thing. So Jimmy K., take my hat off to you. J. Michael Hill, I think a lot of this issue boils down to personal integrity and honesty and representing your abilities. Look at this. At the very end, a couple of people slide in. I take my hats, J. Michael Hill. Yes, that's what this really comes down to. Now, when we back it up all the way to Annie Leibovitz, who I am now her new fan.
And she's yours, by the way.
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, I think she'd be like, look, I mean, I don't have any illusions of where I fit into the photography universe. She's way, way up there.
With the fly?
And Matt, I'm way, way down
Ooh, that's
there.
where the fly is.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, but going back to what she did, I give her the credit for that shot. When I look at that shot, I think that is a very, very special shot. That's beyond a set, because you can get a set in a million places. That's the mark of, and somebody said it too, you hired the right person. You don't take a chance. I remember when I was in college, a professor saying, at that time, everybody bought IBMs. And he, on the last day of one of our classes, he said, at some point, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be able to choose a computer system for your company. He says, I'm going to tell you right now, whatever your options are, just get IBM. Just buy IBM. Nobody ever, ever, ever gets fired for ordering IBM computers. IBM brand. And he was, and you know what? Nobody gets fired for hiring Annie Leibovitz, because she's going to freaking deliver. So anyway, hey, it's time for our contests and stuff. So we also are giving another book away. So we're giving away a ticket to my Colorado Springs and my other one. Say what city you want to go to in the comments field. You know, just say, hey, I want to go to Austin, or I want to go to not Austin, San Antonio.
Can we throw Hartford in there too?
Yeah, you're doing Hartford. When are you doing Hartford?
Lightroom Hartford, August 2nd. So Lightroom 5, Hartford,
August
Connecticut.
2nd? Yeah, that's the cutoff date for Photoshop Pro. Okay, what book are we giving away? The Last?
It's called The Last Layer by Bonnie Pierce Lohotka.
Hold it up again. You know who's on the cover there? That's Russell Brown. Russell Preston Brown. R to the P to the... Yeah.
Is it? Are you sure?
That's Russell.
Okay.
Who else could it be?
A Russell lookalike?
No, that's Russell. Anyway, so we're going to give away the book. If you want the book, say book. Here's how to enter the contest. Go to kelbytv.com, probably where you are right now, /contest. And you will see a little pop-up form. You're going to select the show. Our show is The Grid. You put in your name, your email, your website, only so we can contact you if you win. Comments. Just right there, just tell us what prize you would like to win, because your choices are the book, the Matt's Lightroom Seminar in Hartford, Connecticut. By the way, go to Plan B Burger. Did I mention that?
Yeah, you did.
Go to Plan B Burger in Connecticut. It will curve your spine. And then my Colorado Springs or San Antonio. Was there any other gifts we were giving away?
That sounds good.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Hey, I thought we had some really great
interaction.
And at the end, when they came in with the stuff, that's what it's really about. Is we shouldn't be trying to fool people into hiring us. And you know, we have as a company been fooled into hiring some people that misrepresented their skills. You know, Juan, for example. I know. Love Juan. Much love. Much love.
Peace, Juan.
Peace, Juan. Much love.
No, great.
Well, certainly Pete.
Great comments, though. Great interaction. That was, I mean, there was just a constant flow of it, too.
Hey, can I say something just interesting?
No.
Damn. Okay. No, seriously. I ran a video on my blog. We're searching for a marketing genius for one part of our company. And I ran a little thing on my blog that was just explaining what the job's all about. And in the video, I mentioned, look, I got a stack this big of like, they're marketing people, but they're sending in resumes that have the inspiration factor of a Hertz rental car agreement. It's just they're like, really, you're a marketing person and you're sending in, it looks like you're applying to be an actuary. They're just horrendous, right? And so I said that in the video. Do you know what's come in since I did that video? A stack of boring, standard, run-of-the-mill, except for today. I'm sitting in my office and my assistant Susan comes in and she hands me a black tube with a big like bow, and it's this big thing, and it's really nicely done. It's got a, and I look at the top, and it says, to Scott Kelby from a marketing genius.
Ah.
And I pop the top, and out comes this big scroll, and it's got a thing around it and all, and it was very, the cover letter was great. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I even said, how are you going to stand out in this literal stack of rental car agreements? And someone, that's marketing. That's you got my attention, and we have an interview tomorrow. So anyway, that's just a little interesting aside there that today something really good happened.
Awesome.
I hope this person's good. Anyway, thank you. Want to thank our sponsors, all of our sponsors, including B&H Photo, the greatest store in the entire earth, and the greatest people. Their customer service is insane. Their products are insane. Their insanity is insane. We love them very much.
Gabe brought me to the airport last night.
Did he?
Gabe's insane.
Gabe is great.
Gabe works at B&H. He brought me to the airport.
Yeah,
so.
I called Gabe yesterday. He didn't say I'm with Matt.
Oh. It's a secret.
What's really going on?
Well,
all right. Anyway,
I was getting
Matt,
camera gear from him.
Where can people go to see your blog? MattK.com?
Yeah, MattK.com, best place. You can get my Facebook, Twitter, Google, all
Where
kinds
can
of
they
stuff
learn
there.
about your Lightroom stuff, of which you have much?
You can go to LightroomKillerTips.com, too.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching.
And
Take
you're
care.
at scottkelby.com.
I'm at scottkelby.com. Thanks to everybody. Take care. Do this thing. Omega. Get it.
This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by Impics. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. On One Software, focused on photography. Peach Pit Press, publishers of technology books, ebooks, and videos for creative people. Epson, exceed your vision. Expo Imaging, rogue flash benders for speedlight enthusiasts. Intel, the power you need for hardcore creatives. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional photography website. And B&H Photo, the professional source.